Baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by Bell Tire.
It is something that the Tigers hadn't experienced since late July. A win in Cleveland. Jeimer Candelario was a big reason for it. Couple of extra base hits last night. The Tigers used his power. They used some pitching, and they used some speed to snap a 10-game losing streak at Progressive Field. Today, they look to get greedy. They look to stay hungry, and they look to win the series here on Fox Sports Detroit. Hi, everybody. Alongside my partner, two-time World Series champ Kirk Gibson. I'm Matt Shepard. You had a conversation with Jeimer Candelario before the game yesterday. Obviously, it paid off. What did he do yesterday that made him better than in recent moments?
Well, I don't know what I had to say really paid off. I mean, we had a good positive conversation. Candy, he's a guy who started the year, had a great April, kind of been tapering off, laboring through the middle of the season. Now he's starting to get it going again. He went with the big home run last night, almost hit 2, working on his defense. He's a young kid. He's a good kid, Matt, as you can tell.
Yeah.
And he's looking to finish strong and be a big factor in the Tigers for next season.
So he used power. Jacoby Jones used speed. How does what he did last night inspire others, do you think?
Well, again, Jacoby, he didn't play very much in August. He had a down month in August, but let's not forget about what he can do. I mean, he's known kind of for his defense. That's what put him out there since they traded Leonis Martin. He's had several great plays. This one here is unbelievable. I mean, people can't even believe that he does these kind of plays, but he does. Then he's hitting the long ball as well. If he can make more contact, he's going to obviously make more plays, and this is last night. He beats an infield hit out, steals second base, and then comes on to home from second base. That's an impact play. That's an impact player. If his bat can catch up, he will be that for the Tigers in the future.
He told us after the game, I made up my mind right away that I was going all the way on that pass ball, and it paid off dividends. Cleveland's magic number to win the division is 1. The top of their lineup, very strong as anybody in the American League. And Edwin Encarnacion, who went bomb last night, continues to excel. How do you get this guy out?
Yeah, I remember him when he was with Cincinnati. It was hard to get out. He has big bombs. He's hit in the 220s. But he hits the long ball. He's a very smart hitter, veteran hitter. Went on to Toronto, was very successful there. Most home runs since 2002, 7 consecutive 30-plus home runs. That's the longest streak. As I said, a very smart hitter. He will go to school quickly on you. You're going to have to make sure you mix it up. And he's back there sitting behind the top of that lineup. And they handled him last night enough, and they'll have to do it again tonight. He's a very dangerous ball player.
Good news for the Tigers. He's 3-11 in his career with 4 strikeouts against Michael Fulmer, who gets the nod today, hoping to finish the campaign strong. Stay with us. Mickey York rejoins us from the Call Sand Studios next with Fulmer's really important numbers. is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be. Come to Comerica. And by Jeep. Hurry into Jeep Adventure Days events for a great deal. The 5-4 win here by Detroit last night got them to 21-26 in one-run games. Gorgeous Saturday afternoon. 77 degrees. A little humid and a little windy too, but we'll take it. It's better than the alternative, right? Tigers batting order presented by your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Detroit looking forward to this showdown. Jacoby Jones went 2 for 4 with a run scored yesterday, a stolen base, and RBI as well. Victor Martinez spent 2002 through 2009 as a representative of the Cleveland Indians, and what a ceremony they had for him prior to today's game. We'll show you that a little bit later on. Here's today's starting pitcher for Cleveland. It's presented by MGM Grand Detroit, Mike Cleffinger.
Yeah, Clevenger, a 4-pitch guy, throws the ball very well. 11 and 8 on the year. Changeup has been really good his last 2 starts. He also had the slider going great the 2 starts before. So he's a guy you got to pay attention to what he's doing and try and make your adjustments.
He will face Jamer Candelario, Kristen Stewart, and Nicholas Castellanos. In the second to last meeting between these two franchises this season. Nice series opener for Candelario last night. Clevenger really good against the Central. Gave me 6-1 with a 2.15 ERA in 12 starts.
The Indians are good against the division.
Yeah, they sure are. They are 42-22 against the Central. The problem some people have in Cleveland is they have a losing record against everybody else.
That's correct. Terry Francona, he's got to figure that out. Tried to sneak in and talk to him today, but he had extra security.
Against you?
Yeah, they ran me out of there.
Oh my gosh, that's the first time it's happened all year.
Tito's been a pretty good manager here in Cleveland.
I would say so. Winning record in every single season. What's the key to his success, do you think? I mean, he's a really good communicator. He's got some really good players. But
yeah, he's got good players. He's a good communicator, all that. Candy on base with a leadoff walk. Let's take a look at the Indians defense today. A little different. Michael Brantley in left, Kipnis in center. Melky Cabrera will take over for right field. Yandy Diaz at first base. Yonder Alonso at first. Lindor and Ramirez, of course, up the middle. Roberto Perez catching Mike Clevenger. Perez has better numbers. You can look at the all other catchers, so that's the way they go. And it's a day game. That's convenient.
Lindor playing in his 145th game, second most in the American League to Matt Olson. Ramirez right behind him at game 144. Kristen Stewart 0 for 4 last night. Did get on base though, so he's reached base in all 4 starts that he's had in his young career. Quick throw, and they got Candelario.
I think Candy thinks that they should take a look at it. Thought he might have got his hand in here. We can see as of late you have to make sure it's got to be decisive to make the. For that one you couldn't really tell. But Candy's can only tell. He can feel the tag on his side right there.
That's a perfect throw.
Great time. You're not going to do it. He gets picked on.
Instead of a runner on first, there's one down.
Lots of curveballs for Stewie. Here's a look right here. It looked like he slipped a little bit. That way it looked like he might have been safe, but Gardy did not want to burn it early in the game.
Stewart watches that one skip up.
You can kind of see how they're going to attack Stewie, can't you? Lots of breaking balls. Clevenger's got a couple different spins that he can put on the ball. Some break down, some have more angle on them. Got the slider, fastball. His velocity's gone up.
Stewart pops it up. Center field. Kipnis in. Lindor out. It'll be Kipnis taking charge. Oh, Ronnie Rodriguez has put on the headset, even though we're supposed to be talking to Matthew Boyd a little bit later on.
He's not here, man.
He's not here?
He's not here right now.
Ronnie, what are you going to tell Jamer Candelario after getting picked off first base? I mean, you play some first base. What are you supposed to be doing there?
I mean, you know.
I don't know. That's why I'm asking. You're going to leave that one alone, aren't you? What impresses you about the way Nicholas Castellanos approaches each at bat, Ronnie? How do you learn from him?
He's a real good player. He have a plan and a discipline on the box. And I've been working with him too in the cages. So he's a good type of player.
Well, we're hoping it pays off for everybody. This one pounded to right.
Son.
Melky Cabrera at the warning track. And the Tigers go down quietly in the first in Cleveland. Walk around Progressive Field. Tiger fans here in full force. Today's Tigers starting pitcher is Michael Fulmer. It's presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Michael's been throwing the ball well, looking for a win, though. It's been quite some time since he's got a victory. His velocity is good. It's up. His slider's been pretty good. I think the changeup has not been as effective as it has in the past. 110 strikeouts, 46 walks, but you see opponents hitting 251 against him. So comparing those pitches over a couple years ago when he was Rookie of the Year, not quite as sharp. We'll show you a little bit later about that.
Francisco Lindor squares to bunt, drags it foul. You and I did the game against St. Louis in which Fulmer last started. He went 6 1/3, gave up 5 runs, 3 of them earned. He was perfect through 5. How does something change so drastically for such a talented pitcher?
I think hitters make an adjustment. I mean, he was rolling. He had good mechanics, throwing the ball where he wants to. He's throwing hard, kind of a max effort guy. Then you start missing your spots a little bit. Third time around, the batters are, they're used to you a little more. They got a gauge for their start point and their end point. And that happens really everywhere in the game.
Lindor strokes one to right, way back and gone.
Missed the spot right there. It's kind of Middle third in. Lindor, one of the better hitters in the league. And get back to that changeup. Just think if you have a third pitch, kind of gets the hitters rocking back and forth. I know Michael's getting frustrated with some of the results, but you know he's healthy. That's one thing he's had to deal with. And the leadoff home run here by Lindor is very minimal to overcome. He got a lot of time to come back and shut him down, get some runs off Clevenger and the Indians.
It's his 8th career leadoff home run. That is a Cleveland record. Good numbers as you saw moments ago against Michael Fulmer. Brantley nails one to deep right. That's way back. Same result.
Well, he tried to throw the changeup here and didn't do a lot. And Brantley just smokes it. This is not a good start. Hit right on top of the black wall, just beyond the yellow line. Home run. We've got the trainers visiting with guarding Michael Fulmer.
They noticed something there, Gibby?
Not sure, but they came out of there pretty quick.
As we know, Fulmer's dealt with some injuries this year.
Trying to talk him out of it. I'm sure he doesn't want to come out.
Matt Hall quickly warming.
And Michael Fulmer, they're going to the 6-man rotation anyway, so it's not really. They want to protect Michael, I'm sure, taking the ball from him.
Yeah, they're going to take him out. Wow. Back-to-back homers to start the game for Cleveland. Michael Fulmer must have tweaked something that the Tigers medical and coaching staff recognized, and on comes a man to make his debut, much like his teammate did last night. We'll explain after this. It is Matt Hall, the Tigers minor league pitcher of the year. Gibby, it's all about his curveball. Is that fair to say?
Well, that's his best pitch, and another guy's going to be excited his major league debut right here. You can see his minor league numbers: 9-2, 2-1-3 in the minors. A lot of strikeouts. Opponents only hitting 193 off of him. Started a couple of years ago when he came on the radar. It was in think it was 2 or 3 years ago, he got off to a great start down in Lakeland, up through Erie, up through Toledo right here at the end, 4-0 in Toledo. So he's earned a spot to start today, and never want to do it this way, but get a chance to warm up on the mound. We'll see what he's got. Tigers starting to bring the youngsters up, and they've been pitching very well. They're well prepared for the.
There's the lineup that he faces, brought to you by your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. You saw Lindor go yard, and Brantley batting .315 in day games. That's 8th best in the American League. Roberto Perez is behind the plate. Cleveland is 31-19 with him as a starter this year, even though he's batting just a .156. The first batter Matt Hall will face is Jose Ramirez, 3rd in the league in homers, 4th in RBIs, and 3rd in stolen bases. Here's the Tigers defense.
McLaren Health Plan brings you the Tigers starting defense. Stewart, Jones, and Castellanos in the outfield. Candy and Aducey again on the corners. Cosma and Lugo up the middle. James McCann is now catching Matt Hall. Michael Fulmer has exited the game. We have no report yet. Hopefully it's nothing serious, but the Tigers obviously saw something from the dugout, came out right away. Or James McCann, the catchers, a lot of time will look in there, give a little sign to the manager, the trainer. You go out there and you investigate, and they didn't feel it was worth the risk, and he's out of the game.
The back-to-back homers by the Indians make it the 11th time this year in the majors that a team has led off with back-to-back bombs. Lindor number 35, Brantley number 16, and now their home run leader stands in, Jose Ramirez. Last night we saw Spencer Turnbull make his major league debut, and he had a clean frame. He talked to us post-game and earlier today with Mickey York and Craig Monroe on Tigers Live pregame how nervous he truly was literally shaking. And I wonder if he'll have those same nerves the first time he starts. He'll be starting next week for the first time. Matt Hall was a starter, but he can also come out of the bullpen.
They're pinning him more for the bullpen.
And a single up the box for Jose Ramirez.
Cleveland's butt. Their hitting shoes, they got him on today. The other thing about it is Matt Hall's got a tough umpire today too. Mark Wegman. See this ball gets it up a little bit. The previous pitch was low and he did not get the call. Mark Wegman has one of the tightest zones, a hitter-friendly umpire, but MLB likes him. He was in Game 7 of the World Series last year, so he's a fair umpire. You understand his zone. Rule book strike zone.
Do you have to warn a young pitcher about that? If you're Ron Gartenhire, are you warning him about that? This one gets away inside. That allows Ramirez to hustle down to second.
No, I don't think you warn it. I think that's catcher. He may say something at some point to say, hey, this guy's tight. Put it on the plate. He's going to give it to you. Keep it down. But that's the last thing on the Tigers' mind right now is letting him know we're telling you guys. I mean, the first pitch he threw was a strike, I thought, but it was right at the bottom of the zone, and that's why I let you in on it.
Encarnacion goes the other way, and under the glove of Jim Aducey. Ramirez will hustle home. 3-0 Tigers. Could not have started worse for the Tigers. 3-0 try.
Yeah, it looks bad so far. 2 home runs, base hit. You can see Encarnacion totally giving himself up, trying to go to the right side of the diamond, advancing Ramirez. Aducey can't handle it. So there's no RBI, and it's been ruled in air. And Encarnacion at first.
Yonder Alonso stands in as a starter at first base in this matinee. Went to Miami, Florida. So I was talking with him a little bit about some college football today. All in the Indians clubhouse. This one stroked up the middle. Lugo bobbled it. Oh, it was tailor-made for two.
I was talking to Gardy today early in the morning, and one of the things we got into, he understands there's young players here going to keep preaching certain fundamentals, and I've heard us say it many times. You got to get the first out first, and bless his heart, he's trying to turn two there. We all know it. It looked like it was tailor-made, but you got to catch the ball first. Alan Trammell's #1 rule of defense: make sure you catch it, get your first out. Don't try and make a great play, especially you kind of get a feel of the game. There's not a good start to it, right? So you just start picking away. But nevertheless, here we are. First and second, nobody out. Got to reset everybody on the field and get ready to make the play.
Elke Cabrera stands in from the right side. Hall caught the corner. Yeah, one of the more enjoyable evenings for me last night, visiting with you and Alan Trammell and talking about keys to being just a good fielder. Trammell had such soft hands, he and Whitaker. They made it look easy. That's not easy to do, but they did. So you can't help but wonder as you watch not just the Tigers, but teams around baseball, which players make plays and make it look easy, smooth. Iglesias is one of those guys. Jacoby Jones is one of those guys.
Was Derek Jeter one of those guys?
I would say so, to a certain extent. Well, I don't think he was as smooth as a guy like Trammell, that's for sure.
Well, he had an unbelievable amount of errors one year when he first came up. Yeah. So, you know, to be fair. Now, the other thing that had to do with that play was the shift. They were a little shifted, probably a little further away from second base than normal. And there's a lot of factors here. But they certainly need to make the plays.
Could use a ground ball here. Instead, it's back up the middle and another base hit. Jones hustles in, gets it into the infield to keep a run from scoring. The bases are loaded, though. Three hits, 2 errors, nobody down. And already down 3-0. Yandy Diaz will stride it.
So Jacoby Jones did a great job of charging this ball right here. Edwin Encarnacion with nobody out there, not going to send him, but he really comes hard at this ball. You see, they shut him right down. So you got bases loaded. How about a little 1-2-3 double play? Big John's up there beating the drum on this start.
For sure. Ground ball to second. Lugo will try and twist it, but it won't be in time. Another run scores, but the Tigers register their first out.
I can tell you, Lugo right there, that ball was hit to him. He was thinking, take your time and get it out, and he did. You'll get through this little period right here. You have struggles like this. I'm going to be honest. There were times that I was in the field that I didn't want it hit to me, and it happens. It's part of the game.
That surprises me.
Well, when you make, I mean, it's just like a hitting streak or a hitting slump. You can slump in the field too. Your confidence can slump. There's a lot going for these youngsters right now. So I don't know how they're feeling, but I'm saying there was a time or two I said, don't hit it to me.
Jason Kipnis skies one to left. Kristen Stewart will be tested. The runner tags. Stewart's throw home, and it gets by James McCann.
Pretty good throw. There's been a lot said about Stewie's offense or defense. They do rate his arm very high in minor leagues. I think he had 4 or 5 unassisted assists. That means no cutoff man, direct throws to the plate. But he's got a pretty good arm. He made a pretty good go at it right there.
The number 9 hitter, Roberto Perez, for Cleveland. Matt Hall will not overpower hitters with his fastball, but he has good location. He keeps you off balance.
Well, we get a look, our first look at him. He's been put into an interesting situation here. You can imagine most, say you're coming out of the pen, the phone rings, get Hall up. He goes over and takes his time a little bit. He's got next inning. You usually got to give him a soft entry, a soft landing. Well, the trainers went out, the manager went out, and you're in the game. Warm up on the mound. It's not an ideal entry, but he's got to deal with it. I think he'll do fine if he settles down here.
It was a really good interview earlier today on Tigers Live with Turnbull talking with Mickey York and Craig Monroe. He said, I literally practiced running out of the bullpen because I had never done it before. Perez fouls it away. Hall has done it before, but still, in a big ballpark with about 23,000. There were almost 23,000 here last night, and there's about that many here today. That's what the Indians average. Probably more here today than there were last night. The magic number 1. 2-2 pitch to Perez. Checked it. I suppose there's a good and bad thing about a 5-0 deficit early. The fact is that it's early, so you get plenty of time to make up for it. But also that it is early, and you worry that it compounds mistakes.
Yeah, you gotta stop it somewhere.
The other negative, of course, is that this is a Cleveland offense. When they score 4 runs or more, they are 66 and 25. Now remember, they scored 4 runs last night and failed to win it, but that's just the 16th time, or 16th time that they failed to do that. Here's Perez waiting on the 2-2 pitch. Sliced it foul. It's been a battle.
So 7 pitches, actually 8th pitch coming. 20 on the game so far. Five nothing here in the bottom of the first inning. Got to bring it still. Everybody's got to force them. Got to bring it. Broadcasters got to bring it. Truck, crew, we all got to keep pushing. Turn it around.
Really deep on the left side of the infield. This one sprayed to right. Castellanos charging hard, and that's going to drop in for a base hit.
Perfect storm right here. The only way really could have caught that was to call off Lugo early, make sure he gets out of your way, just come in and dive. I don't think there was any confidence so that the communication would be good enough, and it falls in.
The Indians have batted around here in the first against Michael Fulmer, and now the reliever for the Tigers in his debut, Mr. Hall.
Lindor better against lefties than he is righties.
Lefties, he's batting .359. Righties, .281. Led off the game with an attempted drag bunt, but it went foul.
Next pitch went yard.
Next pitch was his 35th bomb of the year. 5th most in the American League. 1-2 to him now. Went 1 for 4 last night. Francisco Lindor. 172 hits on the year for the Indian shortstop. That is 2nd most in the American League.
Probably got to go to his breaking ball here.
Missed the corner. That looked like a pretty good pitch, didn't it?
Yeah. Talking about Mark Wegman, the home plate umpire. If it's 2 inches off the plate, which is most normally called a strike by most umpires, he calls it 18% of the time. That's not very often. There he goes.
Official word on Michael Fulmer is some inflammation in his right knee.
Yeah, he's been battling that for some time.
Just couldn't push off like he would like. So Matt Hall taking over here in the first. It's been a long first too, and now it's a long at bat for Francisco Lindor. It's a full count.
You might ask yourself, well, why would they take him out? He looked okay, because what happens is pitchers start changing their motion to protect the knee, and it affects the arm and the shoulder and the elbow. You start making adjustments to alleviate the pain.
Lindor up the middle. Cosma. And it's finally over in the first. 5 hits, a couple of errors, 6 runs, and Cleveland makes an early statement.
In case you missed this, got here late. Missed a couple of leadoff home run by Francisco Lindor. Michael Brantley fouled behind him. Michael Fulmer removed from the game with a inflamed, swollen right knee, and then the Tigers did not play very sharply and sloppy. That's Lugo right there. And they did not help Michael Fulmer or Matt Hall, who's making his major league debut. 6 runs later, the Tigers are batting again here in the top of the second.
Only 1 earned run against Matt Hall, though. And here's Victor Martinez.
Not a good start. Now just put yourself in the manager's chair right now. What would you be thinking? Not you, Shep. Just asking everybody. It's
just, you got to get some base runners on. You got to start making plays. But you know, Ron Gardner here has talked about that all season long. If you can make the plays you're supposed to make, it really helps you in baseball. And you just these guys are way too good for you to be giving them extra outs.
Though the Indians are good, but Gardy's the leader of the ship. He's got to make good decisions to develop this club. So the frustration, which maybe many of you feel, you have to sort through that, and you got to think about how do we make them better. How do they handle it better in the next situation next time? It's not a good start. There's some youngsters out there. They've had some changes. Some of their better players are out. Fulmer's out. Iglesias is out. Cabrera's out. I mean, let's keep it in perspective. A lot of these guys have started in the minor leagues, you know, more than a level away. So Victor, hard hit ball.
One
Over
down.
to first.
If Detroit combines for 3 or more homers in this game, bring in a copy of the box score to participating Arby's location tomorrow and get a free small order of curly fries. You can find a copy of the box score in your newspaper or on the Tigers page at foxsportsdetroit.com. Jim Adducci, who went 1 for 3 last night with a run scored. You were mentioning the youngsters and the difficulty that they had early on. As a manager, how do you know when to go up and put an arm around a player? And how do you know when to go on there and chew his tail a little bit?
Well, right now, you got to fix it. You got to compete. You've got 8 innings to go. So I don't think it's really time for that. I think in general you take things out. But he might say, hey, let's go. Let's pick it up a little bit. A little sloppy, guys. Let's go. But one of the things the Gardy's happy about is the game to come back and win in my book, right?
Sure, it's one way to look at it. It's the right way to look at it. Just don't know if everybody necessarily buys into that.
Well, they will.
Well, you have to, and if you're not going to, then you won't be here. Adducci with a tapper. Cleffinger off the mound quickly to make the play. Tigers host the Twins this Monday through Wednesday, September 17th through the 19th. Enjoy great savings from the weekday value pack. 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 chips, and 4 sodas for as little as only $20 a person. For tickets, go to tigers.com/value.
Couple Tiger fans. Trip down to Cleveland. There's quite a few of them actually. You picked a great day to do it. Now bring up James McCann.
Talked with James McCann after the game last night about Turnbull's debut. He was really impressed. Said, kid's got electric stuff.
Heavy ball.
Yeah.
He got popped pretty good, I think, on the second pitch. I think we thought it might have been the thumb. Look at that shadow right there. Not ideal for the hitter to pick up the spin.
Hasn't bothered Cleveland hitters so far.
Good point. Cleveland hitters are a little more advanced, a little more experienced. And they've got a very good pitcher on the mound today, Clevenger, Mike Clevenger.
10th in the league in strikeouts with 191.
That's a pretty good breaking ball right there. And look, he's got a little different motion, doesn't he? It's not quite a Louis Tiant, but it's a version of the Tiant. But
it's unique, but he does turn an awful lot as he gets ready.
That's quick. He kind of slings that ball.
He can bring it though.
Take a look. He turns, and that arm comes from back. He drops, and he drives that ball. That arm is behind his head.
It's like a whip.
Sneaky.
3-2 pitch right back to him. Gets a couple of assists, and he's faced the minimum through 2. Last night, Chris Davis went deep again for the A's. We're going to talk with the MVP candidate and update the AL playoff picture after the break. Tied at 1 in the 10th. Chris Davis smashed a solo blast to right center. His league-leading 42nd homer of the year, lifting the A's to a 2-1 win over the Rays. And with the victory, Oakland gained some ground on the Astros in the AL West. They're just now against Houston 2.5 back of the Astros in the West, and they maintain their status in the second wild card spot, 8.5 in front of Seattle. But they want that division crown, and Chris Davis with 42 homers now has one more than J.D. Martinez.
Yeah, they also gained ground on the Yankees. Game and a half behind the Yankees as well.
You know what's lost in this, though? Tampa's got 80 knockouts. I mean, they're 20 back. They're not going anywhere, but 80 wins for Tampa.
They're going to have 90. Well, they'll be up around 90.
Close. I mean,
may not get them in.
Yeah, somewhere between 86, 87, somewhere close to 90. Nothing wrong with that. And considering they've gone about it, you know, and remember that's the team that went with some relievers, a different pitcher on a regular basis per 9 innings, or every inning, I should say.
They got a pretty dominating pitcher on that staff, that Tampa staff.
Yeah, Blake Snell is unreal.
Ooh.
Shut down this Indians team the other day. Only Encarnacion's homer prevented a shutout. Although Snell didn't finish the game, he did get the win. He leads the American League in victories.
He looks good for the future, doesn't he?
But they've had a lot of guys like that, Gary.
Good scouting.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now,
remember, we said that about Chris Archer. We said it about Jake Odorizzi. We said it about David Price. We said it about a lot of their former players. It's whether or not they can hold on to those guys in Tampa.
Well, they're not going to be able to, but Tampa still stays fairly competitive with the parameters they're in. Matt Hall has struggled with his location. Can't be behind in the count. Walks Michael Brantley and lead off the bottom of the second. If you're Ron Gardenhire, you want to get as much out of Matt Hall as you can. Don't want to see him get behind guys and walk in and running his pitch count.
0-1 start to Jose Ramirez, who is on pace to do something not many other players in history have done. I'll tell you that here in a moment. Waits on the 0-1 pitch. It's 0-2.
Good curveballs right there. Here's the previous one, just dropping it right in.
See if he throws it again. He doesn't. Misses high and wide.
And here was the second one right here. You can see how much break he has on it. Gonna have to throw it to both sides of the plate as well, though, to keep him off it.
Ramirez slices it down the right field line. Could be extra bases. Castellanos bobbles it in the corner. Ramirez hustling all the way to third. The Indians have another run.
Two good curveballs. Really made a decent pitch. He hit his target. This is good hitting. This is when we talk about it. He's got 2 strikes on him. Look at him shorten up. He doesn't try and pull the ball up in the zone. Just goes right the other way. Slices away from Nick. And he's unable to handle it cleanly. And that allows another runner, Michael Brantley, to come around and score.
Third error of the day for the Tigers already. It's 7-0.
That's on a leadoff walk.
Encarnacion.
So they did not give him an RBI?
Yeah, RBI double, but an error on the right field. But no, you're right. I apologize. No RBI. Just a little surprising, but no RBI.
Could be changed. They usually try and take care of the home team.
2-1 to Edwin Encarnacion. Safe on the Jim Aducey error back in the first. And would later score. They just changed it. Ramirez does get the RBI.
Figures.
Yeah. Thought that would happen.
It's nothing to their staff for an earned run. They're all happy to hand out earned runs to the opponents.
Why not?
But you know, seriously, sometimes it works against the offensive guy too.
Shallow fly ball. Castellanos a late break, and that's going to drop in front of him. Another run scores. 8-0 Cleveland.
There's some wind out there. Actually blowing in from right field.
Yonder Alonso safe on an error from Dewald Lugo. First time up.
So we're let's see, 9, 12 batters in, 13 batters in, right?
12 batters in. This is the 13th. Rope to right. Encarnacion hits the bag at second. He will hustle into third, and the Indians still with nobody down, have runners at the corners. It's time for the Bernstein advantage. Matt Hall has the Bernstein advantage. Look at his minor league career, what he's been able to do, and becoming the Tigers minor league pitcher of the year for this past season. But in 97 career games, strikes out quite a bit. Has a very palatable ERA. Is now getting a visit from Rick Anderson talking to there.
Yeah, this is
it's a massive jump, isn't it? Giving a massive jump from the minors to the big leagues. You just can't make mistakes.
Well, he's left some balls up for sure, but we've made 3 errors, and probably I don't know how many other balls maybe should be caught. Can't give the opponent that many opportunities, and Cleveland's mad over last night.
Sure.
Seems to me.
Sandy Baez quickly warms up. Still nobody down.
Every hit off of Matt Hall has been in front of the outfielders. This they had to sacrifice. That was the only really outfield depth. Just so I don't know what to say about that. Might be one of those days where you maybe don't say what you're thinking.
Well, you and I both watched that team jog out of the dugout to their defensive positions.
They were good.
Before this inning, Jacoby Jones sprinted to center field.
There's
A
another
flare to
one.
left. Stewart hustling in. It's going to fall in front of him. 9-0 home team.
Boy. These kind of days will test you.
How do you stay in it if you're a player? You've been through it, right? As a player and a man. How do you stay in it?
You're a pro. You got to have pride. You got to. I mean, it's 9-0 against Cleveland. It's tough to overcome. Here's another one.
It's another bloop single. Bases are loaded.
I can't even. I mean, we're just going to keep throwing them out there. Balls are all over the plate. I mean, they're hitting them good, but they're not hitting long bullets.
Yeah, not hard hit balls, but that doesn't really matter.
Like I said, I probably should gather my my thoughts here. You asked me as a player, as a manager. I mean, there's certain things you can't do because you don't want to look bad as well. You got to find a way to get them out.
Jason Kipnis stands in. Sacrifice fly in the first. Since Matt Hall replaced Michael Fulmer, and the third batter of the game in the first inning, Jose Ramirez, he's not allowed a hit over 95 miles per hour in the exit velocity, for what that's worth. Good stop by McCann to swallow it up. 1-1.
Now, if you're Cleveland, what rules do you play by? It's 9-0. And they're stopping runners at third base. It's kind of a courtesy within the game. It's usually 6 after 6, but this is 9 after 1.
Right.
The Tigers have no outs here.
1 and 2 to Kipnis. And as a player, you're almost, if you're in a Cleveland uniform, as a player, you're almost embarrassed if you make the out. Because of how everyone's doing, right?
I'm just saying, how far do you push it? You want to pay your respects, but at the same time, you got to get yours.
Indians would love to have this bat come alive down the postseason stretch.
He's been swinging the bat pretty good, but that change going to make it tough for him.
7th hardest player in the American League to double up. 1-2 pitch. Curveball. Hit him.
Hit it. Walk run in. Hit batsman gets another run in. I think Gardy's saying he didn't move. Average exit velocity 81 miles an hour off their bat.
Got to go to the pen. As much as he would like Matt Hall to get some positive vibes from his first major league outing, it's tough to do. Tigers hoping to make it stop here in the second, still with the bases loaded. Seven batters deep already here in the second.
Yeah, 12 pitches in the first inning before their first out. 25 this inning so far. So you thought, well, it'll be better, but it hasn't been. And we got a wall side windows pitching change. Sandy Baez, 4 games so far, has not yet to be scored upon. whip of .62. Good hard thrower. Can throw upper 90s if he wants to reach back. His last 5 outings, actually he has 5 outings, only 3 hits. Does walk a few occasionally. But recalled from AA Erie prior to the game on September 1st, so he's a September 1st call-up. And they'll have to find a way to get this Indians team out. They're swinging it. Seem to be irritated over the loss last night, paying the Tigers back today so far.
Bases loaded, nobody down for Cleveland. This will be the 11th plate appearance since the leadoff back-to-back homers with a runner in scoring position. That is incredible.
And these guys like to swing at the fastball right away.
Got a fastball, but it was out of the zone. Perez drove in his 13th run of the season with a single in the first.
Haven't seen many pitches on the inside part of the plate, but this is one of the times when you try and come in. Kipnis did get clipped, but if you come in and you actually hit the guy, it looks terrible. What do you do? He's up shaking his head over here.
It's just been. You talked about Cleveland getting upset over last night. You were hoping Detroit would come out with some confidence here today. Good stop by McCann to keep it in front of him. And the thing you have to also understand, and look, I mean, it's September call-up, so you have an extended pitching staff, granted, but you go from Cleveland, you got another game tomorrow, then it's 17th, 18th, 19th against Minnesota, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd against Kansas City. That taxes your bullpen. Baez missed outside.
Yeah, I don't know if they have anybody else they could bring up. Tigers, like you said, they have the September call-ups. So they do have plenty of arms down there. If it keeps up at this rate, you're going to be short.
Deep fly ball, left field. That'll stay in the yard for Stewart. But a sacrifice fly plates the 11th run of the afternoon. Here's Francisco Lindor. He will be the 9th batter of the inning. Yesterday, Jamer Candelario led the game off with a home run. 4th time he's done that. Today, Lindor led off the game with a home run. 8th time he's done that. Fouls it back. And by doing so, by homering, Lindor extends his lead for Major League Baseball leadoff hitters with 34 homers and 84 RBIs. That's just in the leadoff spot. He has more than that on the year, but just in the leadoff spot, those are gaudy numbers.
8 leadoff homers.
Pounded to right, Castellanos. Those are the toughest plays to make as an outfielder, really, Gibby, when you a line drive at you.
Well, again, there's a little bit of wind out there. There's convective activity out there, so those balls can take off on you. Lucky that was that neck. He recovered. Looked like he misplayed it just a little bit. Then he recovered quickly. Then you got the shadows. You got bright stands to deal with out there, so it's not easy to see off the bat. Nick does a good job right here with his footwork. He turns the right way, doesn't panic, gets it out to the side. So we got 13 pitchers in the bullpen today. So Hall's gone, Homer's gone, Baez is gone, right? I don't think Turnbull will throw again.
No.
He's actually a starter. He's scheduled to start after Norris's next start.
Right.
So really, you've got 10 pitchers left.
No, they used Jimenez and Green last night.
Yeah,
Not that you can't use them back-to-back nights. I'm just mentioning you used them both last night.
Well, he doesn't want to use them. I promise you that.
Right. Alex Wilson still available for you. Blaine Hardy, who's warming up, just about ready to warm up here.
So I had somebody send me a message about, how you go walk a guy. If you intentionally walk in games that get out of hand, at what point should you just be able to wave it off to protect everybody?
What do you mean wave it off? Wave off an intentional walk?
No, wave off the game like it's over, like after the 8th, the 7th inning.
Never.
Well, I know he's raising the question.
Oh.
You never thought they'd do that in an intentional walk either. I did. I've watched a lot of guys try and throw an intentional base on balls and throw it to the backstop.
Yeah, but that's a strategy. By just waving the white flag and saying enough is enough, that's about competitiveness.
Well, I'm after looking. It's not my idea. I'm just passing it along.
I know.
But intentional base on ball is many guys throw it to the backstop.
Yeah, I never agreed with that. They put up the 4 fingers and you get the free pass. Make them throw it.
I agree. There's plenty of pitchers that were really happy that they made that rule. Because the catcher, remember, the catcher couldn't step out of his fielding position. There's a little box behind the plate.
Runners go. Brantley follows it back. Brantley started this inning, walked and scored. So 2 innings just about played, and Cleveland has batted around in both. Don't know if I've seen that in a long time. Can't recall anyway.
Yeah, let's see the little box back here for the catcher. He's sitting in there. So they have to stay in there till the pitcher releases the ball. It used to be the way it was.
Otherwise, it's a catcher's balk, isn't it?
That's what they call it. I'm unaware of that, but it is. I think it is a walk. But they took it out of the game. And it works great if you got a pitcher that doesn't like to do it, but I always just like to see who could and who couldn't do it. If you're going to do that, you got to throw it to the catcher.
I agree. Too many things can happen.
But
that doesn't take that long, where if you want to speed up the game, that fixes an issue. Here's the 41st pitch of the inning by a Tigers pitcher. Incredible.
Well, they're facing some pretty good hitters today who got their hitting shoes on. You hear John Adams in the background. He's going to be there all game.
9th pitch of the at-bat to Brantley. They'll do it again.
Time for StatCast AI, powered by AWS. You see the Tigers the way they're trying to defend. Doesn't appear it matters where you stand today. The Indians have got it working.
Michael Brantley batting .328 in this ballpark. 4th best average in the American League for home games.
Brantley not really trying to pull the ball. You can see on all these foul tips, just letting them go and just put the bat on the ball. Very tough to strike out.
second hardest to strike out, and yet the Tigers struck him out twice last night.
Not yet. Today. Start with the home run. It has a walk. It's his third at bat already.
He's faced 10 pitches, fouled 7 of them off. Runners on the move. Lost him.
Hey, the scorebook's getting messy.
Yeah, it sure is.
But they hit around the first 2 innings, both innings.
You want your bullpen arms to throw strikes. Sometimes that's easier said than done, and understanding that the top 4 in this lineup, Lindor, Brantley, Ramirez, and Encarnacion, are as dangerous as any top 4, I would argue, in baseball. Gibby. Not just the American League, but all of baseball.
Well, for the reasons they all have power. Bradley not as much. Brantley not as much. They all don't swing and miss a ton. Encarnacion would be the biggest, but they work the count. They don't give in, and they're veteran hitters. I would call Lindor a veteran hitter just because of his abilities.
Yeah, I would too. You know, when you think offense this year, you think Boston, don't you?
I do.
As much as you and I like Houston and all. Baez 2-1 now to Ramirez. When you think Boston, just to give you an example, it's Betts, Benintendi, JD Martinez, Xander Bogaerts, the top 4 in their lineup.
Boy, it's tough too. Now I think Baez won that last pitch. That's not even close to Mark Wegman in the whole plate umpire zone.
2-1 offering. Popped it up. Kozma will take control. And the second inning is finally over. 48 pitches after the fact to the Indians. Add more and lead it by double figures.
The game. We're going to go back to last night. Let's restart here. Jacoby Jones beats out an infield hit, steals second, and then scores from second on a throw to first, little bunt right there, whatever. And look at that slide. He was emotional, feeling good. Let's take ourselves back to that. How are we feeling right there? Good?
Oh, that's awesome.
Let's take ourselves back. I feel good. What are we up by a run?
Yeah. He made that happen all by himself.
See that pitch right there? That's just below the zone. He's not going to call that.
No, but to your point, it's smart that you just spent a long time in the field. I mean, this game's an hour and 17 minutes old. Cleveland has spent an hour at the plate. Okay, so it's smart by Jacoby Jones to take some pitches here. This is where young players are supposed to grow, and this is what you've talked to some of the young players about. Victor Martinez and Ron Gardenhire have reemphasized the same message.
Yeah, that Jacoby swung at a first pitch and got a double play last night. We were discussing that a little bit. I mean, he gets it, but he had a heck of a game. You know, you're not going to be starring every at bat or every play you make.
Down he goes. First strikeout of the night for Mike Cleffinger.
But we may be looking for that breaking ball again. Clevenger just paints down and away, and he gets the call.
That's a good pitch, isn't it?
Yes, it is, especially when you're looking for a slider or a breaking ball.
Cleffinger almost 9.5 strikeouts per 9.
Now he's throwing 97 right now. Last year, that's like probably 4 mile an hour faster than last year, because he has really cleaned his mechanics up and he's just throwing the ball better. He's not a tiny guy. He's tall. Watch how he turns again, and that arm quickly comes out of there.
Ramirez had to back up, made the play easily, 2 quick outs.
At some point, Ron Gardenhire is going to have to take some of his guys out. Nick comes to mind because he's played the most, I think, of anybody in the lineup.
He has.
Victor, we'll see what he does with Victor. He probably would ask him. But the youngsters, they're going to have to suck it up. Again, I've been in games like this. You just kind of keep looking at your manager at some point and hope that he alleviates the pain.
I don't know how he can.
No, I mean, you got to pick yourself up. I think we were in Arizona. We came back in a game like this one time.
Cosma strokes one to short, right at Lindor, and Mike Cleffinger through 3 has faced the minimum. Money encounter, you see Cleveland, the best in baseball in hard hit rate. They haven't necessarily done that today. I know that would stun you if you're just tuning in. 11 runs, 10 hits. They do have a couple of home runs, but a number of softly hit balls that dropped in front of Detroit's outfielders has helped aid the 2 big innings for the Tribe. Indians have had 16 men reach base today already. The Tigers' lone base runner was Jamer Candelario. He led the game off with a walk and then was promptly picked off by Mike Clevenger, his 6th pickoff this year.
And the bad fate was on. 2-0, 3-0.
You're just telling, as a manager, you're telling Sandy Baez right now, let's throw some strikes, okay?
Yeah.
Let's make them earn this. Get
Well,
the ball over the plate.
He's got to push himself because it's a hard game to pitch, and everybody understands that, but you're trying to pitch your way on for next year. And he leads it off with the walk.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, this is a tough game in which to play, not just throw.
Definitely. But that last inning, the bottom of the second, was a 26-minute bottom of the second. The top of the third was 2 minutes and 45 seconds. So that's, we want to start trying to get that evened up, don't you think?
No doubt. Can you do that?
Well, you can't walk people, but it's not easy.
Yonder Alonso, who's been on base twice, scored twice, but 1 for 2.
Got to give Cleveland a little credit. They came out here, they meant business today. We did not respond to the pressure.
Could use a ground ball here from Baez. Instead, it's pounded deep right. Castellanos going back, and that is gone.
First pitch hitter. So you got to give Alonso credit. He knows that Baez just walked Encarnacion. You know he's trying to get the strike, sat on it, got it, popped it. It's solid thinking.
Third home run of the day for the Indians, and all pretty close to the same spot. Here's Melky Cabrera. A couple of singles and a run scored for the Indians right fielder. Cabrera 6 homers on the year, 33 runs driven in. Re-signed on July 5th. Went down to AAA Columbus at $321. He's helping Cleveland now.
As you enjoy a Miller Lite, look forward to the whole true moment later in tonight's game. It'll be interesting if we pick that out tonight, huh?
Sure will.
What was the whole true moment tonight?
We know what last night's was. This one punched, and a nice grab by Candelario to his left. 1 out. Key matchup in the National League wild card race. Dodgers and Cardinals. Mickey York, how's it going between those two teams today? That's easy to have. You're right. Oh man, we saw the Cardinals not too long ago. They came in playing really good baseball. Detroit took 2 out of 3. They like their team with Bader and Martinez and DeYoung and Ozuna. Are they as good as the Dodgers? Not today, but you never know.
Dodgers have had a lot of challenges with injuries this year. Big impact, and the biggest one, their closer, Jansen.
Yeah.
don't know if you can overcome that.
Tough one. Deep short, Cosma. Whale of a play. And what a throw.
Wow.
That's why he's in the lineup.
That was a great pick. This is a mini throws. Look, he gets these going straight away. Gets his arm up over top, and this is totally accurate throw on over to Tucci. Those guys practice every day before they come out during batting practice, or they'll come out with their coaches and practice throws like that. Now, if you're going up the middle, it's a different throw, obviously. In the hole's another, coming in on a ball.
Yeah, we had a really interesting conversation yesterday before the game. You and Alan Trammell, Jim Leland, Ron Gardenhire about the most important positions. And you all started at catcher because you're involved in every play. The second most important position you thought was first base because the second most throws or second most plays are made at first base. And a first baseman can make every other infielder better.
That's correct. If the infielder throws a bad ball or a poor ball, they can do the pick, or they can do good footwork, or they can come off and save it from being in error. They can, the first baseman also relays balls. He can be a relay man. You go to first, you go to second, you can go to third. So yeah, I think we're all in agreement.
Zach Reininger warming up for the Tigers.
On that point, then the next position was shortstop. This is excluding the pitcher, by the way.
Right. And then it was center field, right?
Yeah. So you kind of, that's 3 out of the first 4 picks were up to middle. And then from center, it'd probably go.
And 3 of the first 4 are infielders, too, by the way.
Yeah. Probably go second, third, in the corners in the outfield.
Right, then left. Oh, Kipnis hit by the pitch.
Remember what I said a couple of days ago? You come in and hit somebody, it's going to look bad.
And he had 2 strikes on him, 2 outs. No ill will there, but just can't seem to control themselves here as Ron Gardenhire takes another stroll.
Here's the exit velocity on all the hits today. Sub 84, 80 to 94, 4 of them, and 95 plus 3. And those are probably all the home runs. 3 of them. But Kipnis is not happy. He's been hit twice, so whether you meant it or not, it hurts.
Another pitching change for Detroit. The American League playoff picture a little bit ago. Here's what it looks like in the National League, and it's really interesting in the Central, very interesting in the West as well, but the wild card is still firmly up for grabs.
it's going to be some tiebreakers. I sense a one-game playoff to get the one-game playoff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could have to go through 2 games to get into the playoffs. As a wild card, they could have several tiebreakers.
Milwaukee looks pretty firm. Who do you like in that second wild card? If you had to give the edge right now, do you like the Dodgers make up the Cardinals or the Diamondbacks?
Well, what if the Dodgers you run down Colorado? They're only a game behind. I mean,
that's true.
I mean, Colorado isn't necessarily in. Arizona could come back and win that division.
Yeah, not a lot separating there in the National League West. I love the Rays. Colorado's success still a little surprising to me.
Buddy Black's doing a good job over there. He's got those boys competing and got them on top.
All side windows pitching change. Zach Reininger's 13th appearance. 95 in there for a strike. Just real quick on the National League, the Dodgers, their biggest issue is come at home, folks. They're only 3 games above the break even at home, but on the road, LA is 42-31. That's impressive.
Got to change the beds, I guess. Bring some hotel beds in there and maybe feel like you're on the road.
The mini bar and the free little bottle of water there.
Yeah, you get
desk.
one and the next one's $10. But yeah, it's there's good races this year. It's going to be a good end to the regular season, and then the playoff season is going to be awesome as well. They've got it designed well.
It's great for baseball. It really is. Cubs haven't wrapped up the Central either, kid. I mean, Milwaukee's only 1.5 back.
Milwaukee's been there all year.
Yeah, right. I thought that would be a team that fades a little bit, but Hader and Kane and Yelich and the rest, they've been really strong. 3-1 pitch to Roberto Perez. Major league pop up on the infield. McCann or Adduci? It'll be McCann taking care of it. The Tigers are through 4. Make it 3. Just seems like 4. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire.
Power. It's the way we started the game last night. Big fly by Candyman. Went on to have a double and added another run as well. He'll have a chance to get back on track here. This is your guy, right? Who picked Candy today?
I think Craig Monroe took
Simo?
Jamer Candelario. Right.
The first pick was Jacoby today, right?
Correct. Second pick was Nicholas Castellanos. Then it was Candelario. Then it was Victor Martinez. And then you went with Kristen Stewart, I believe.
Yeah. We do have a formal complaint about
already
rigging.
Oh.
Because Kobe was taken first by Johnny Kane, correct?
Yes.
That left.
That
Nick
left
for Mickey.
Yeah, the Tigers' best player, Nick Castellanos.
Best hitter.
Now, in fairness to my friend Mickey York, neither has done anything. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mickey's right now getting the volume button on. He just can't help it.
He would tell you this: I don't need to rig anything. I'm so far ahead.
He might have a point.
Candelario strokes one down the right field line, but foul. Hard to believe, but this is just his second at bat of the game. Francisco Lindor, Cleveland's leadoff hitter, will lead off their half of the fourth with his fourth at bat of the contest. Candelario walked to the first and then was promptly picked off by Mike Cleffinger. After going 2 for 5 last night, that was his 27th multi-hit game of the year. Grounder to second. Ramirez is perfectly positioned.
Here's our Xfinity high-speed pitch, 97. Low 74. What one do you think you could hit better, the big curveball at 74 or the 97 heater that you know is coming? They told you it was coming.
Neither.
Really?
Yeah. I had this debate with a good friend of mine in the media a few years ago. Joel Zumaya was pumping it in at 101 miles per hour. You remember?
Yeah.
And he said to me, I think I could stand in there and face Joel Zumaya. And I quickly said, no, you couldn't.
Well, you could stand in there.
No. I think they would bail as soon as the ball was about to be delivered. And then would have to quickly change their course. No way. 101 miles per hour? Come on.
I'm not going to touch that.
Not a member of the media. You? Maybe. Right?
Would stand in there?
Yeah.
Well, anybody could stand in there.
No,
Seriously.
they couldn't. No, they couldn't. They don't know where the ball's going.
Well, he does.
But they don't trust him. Stewart on a shot. And Detroit's first base hit comes with one down.
They're going to
here in
give
the
him an
fourth.
air watch. Well, they did. They gave him a hit.
Kristen Stewart has reached base in every game he's started for the Tigers.
He hit a bullet.
Sure did.
Ball's away. Look at him. He just drops the bat head right down to it. Doesn't drop that backside. Stays firm. And eats Diaz up. That who was over there?
Yeah, Yandy Diaz. What makes you and Jim Leland and Ron Gardenhire so convinced that he's going to be a hitter at the big league level?
Stewart?
Yeah.
Just you've watched him and he's got a good path. You've seen the results. You've seen the way the ball comes off his bat, the adjustments he makes. I mean, he's young, but you're okay. Are you projecting the other way?
No, I'm wondering.
Well, I would say what
I want to see it too. I want to know what to look for.
well, yeah, it was pretty good at bat. It was like 96 on the outside corner at the top of the zone. He had a great path to it. His power numbers, he's succeeded everywhere he's been. We've watched him develop. He's come a long way as an outfitter. The kid has determination. He's a good personality guy. He's a team guy. I mean, anybody who doesn't think he is, I mean, I'm open. Maybe we're missing something. But he was drafted high. Supplemental pick at the end of the first round, I believe. Second or third. He was a second pick that year.
But overall, I think what you said at the beginning is Jared Saltalamacchia gets ready to come in and take the place of Victor Martinez. What you said at the beginning of that, the right path to the ball, the fact that that was 96 on the outside, didn't try to pull it, went the other way. Those are the things that convince you and others that he's going to be a good hitter. That's what I need to hear.
And
That's
we
what I need
watched
to
him.
look for.
Yeah, we watched him. You talk to him. You hear what his picture is, what he's trying to accomplish, how he adjusts, and the questions that he asks when he needs help.
He's having a long conversation with the great Willie Horton back in the last homestand.
But you go back and look at his numbers from the first day he came to Detroit. He moved quickly and succeeded everywhere he's been.
Castellanos waits, holds off, and it's full. Castellanos flew out to right his first time up. Stewart on second base after the single and wild pitch with one down.
That was a good question, though, Shep. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I think it's important for novices like yours truly and others to try and figure out why he's going to be good. Good at bat by Nick Castellanos to draw the walk.
Here we come.
Tigers host the Royals on Saturday, September 22nd at 6:10. The first 10,000 fans receive a 1968 themed Detroit Tigers Hawaiian shirt, courtesy of Visit Central Florida. For tickets, go to tigers.com. Victor Martinez's day is done. Lifted for Jared Saltalamacchia. One at bat for Martinez on this special day. We'll show you that a little bit later on in the broadcast. He got emotional when the Indians honored him today.
He did.
So much for my Ram pick the stick.
Well, at least you can't go backwards.
Well, that's you're always putting the positive spin on it.
Try.
Yeah. Jared Saltalamacchia, he is charged up. I'll tell you why here in a moment. If you could have seen him before the game. A 1-0 pitch from Cleffinger. 1-1. Saltalamacchia had agreed to sign with Florida State. That's where he was going to go play college baseball. He is a diehard Seminoles football fan. So while in the clubhouse earlier today, he and I were talking a little bit, but he had both eyes on the Florida State Syracuse football game, and oh, he was emotional and livid, questioning just about every single play call. And I looked at him and I said, "You're worse than a fan, you know that, right?" He said, "Come on, man." And then he just started going off on Willie Taggart a little bit, head coach there. It was
that easy.
It was a great conversation.
I find many of these guys are still passionate about their alma maters.
No doubt, and passionate about other sports too. They really get into it. Of course, as soon as college football came up, Mikey Matuk jumped into the conversation. He from LSU. And Jacoby Jones joined in. He had too, an LSU Tiger. Three-1 pitch to Saltalamacchia. Another walk, and the bases are loaded for the Tigers.
Here we come.
Well, Victor Martinez earlier today honored by the Indians. The first signed in Cleveland as an amateur free agent in '96. A member of their organization until 2009. Played parts of 8 years. Was a three-time All-Star here. And he is the franchise record holder for RBIs by a primary catcher with 114 in 2007. You see his numbers as a member of the Tigers and Indians organization. And Gibby, he was emotional. Chevrolet's most dependable player, Victor Martinez. I talked to him before the game and asked him if he thought it was going to be emotional. He says, "I really don't know. We'll see what happens." But when you see the highlights, you hear the sounds, and you get the roar of the crowd, and then you're presented with home plate, that's when it tugged at his heartstrings a little bit.
Why do you think that, guys get emotional over the fact that, they're calling it a day? It appears that he's going to retire. Because there are a lot of times when you're playing, you play this long in your career. I played 17 years where you wanted to be home. You get homesick too but you're always traveling.
Ducey pops it in foul ground. Diaz can't reach it. It's in row 3.
So there's that part of it too. But he probably has such great memories here and remembers when he was younger, and it was different. They had some great teams here. I think you start to miss that. The fun part is when you're coming in and you're dealing with your buddies and your teammates and your coaches and your fans. That's I think what you would miss. And maybe he's thinking, I'm not going to see. I mean, tomorrow will be his last game here. in his career if he goes ahead and retires. So I guess it's just an emotional moment for those reasons.
And he may not play tomorrow. Ron Gardenhire generally gives him the
Sunday
day off in the afternoon, yeah, for a matinee, and then headed home for Minnesota. I think you're right. I think it's because it's where it all started. It's where your journey and your dream began.
And some of your really, really good times where it happened.
And out away, he told me, that out away from winning the World Series.
97?
But he says no regrets. Been blessed.
I just remember how cold it was in that World Series. That was against the Marlins, right?
Yeah.
Sitting right up over there in that high thing, and it was cold. My wife and my kids, we came down to the World Series from Detroit.
Oh, that's cool.
With snowmobile suits on.
2-2 pitch to a Ducey. Clevenger with a big out there. Second of the inning. Just his second strikeout of the day.
Ducey had been hitting 300 with runners in scoring position, so you expect him. He's a pretty good contact guy. Clevenger pulls one out of the hat.
Leaves it up to James McCann. Clevenger is labored through this fourth frame. 27th pitch of the inning coming up here. McCann tap back to the mound his first time up. Way off balance.
Got those shadows if you look at the field right now. The infield's basically shadowed. The mound is, and then you got bright behind. When it's light behind, it's pretty tough to pick it up on a pitch like that. Now that was perfectly placed. Down and away, sharp. That's where you want it to go. That's not up where it's hanging and the hitter can get to it. Even when you can't see it.
Caught the inside corner.
Cans doesn't look like he liked it right there. Been some testy times around the league with the umpires, hasn't there?
A number of them, especially this week.
Talk about that later.
Last night with Washington. Thursday with the Mets. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Clevenger deals his way through a difficult fourth with back-to-back Ks.
Yes.
Earlier about some issues with umpires last night Washington and Atlanta. In Atlanta, Bryce Harper had all kinds of problems with Lance Diaz. Lance Diaz had mentioned on more than one occasion, you've got to settle him down. You've got to tell him to knock it off. He thought Bryce Harper was showing him up. Bryce Harper ended up going 1 for 5. And afterwards, Dave Martinez said, like, I don't want to get fined. I don't want to be in any trouble. Lance Diaz and I have had a long relationship, but Major League Baseball has to take a look at that.
Well, I think that something was said that Bryce Harper thought was over the line. I haven't heard what it was yet. But, you know, let's face it, Mikey Matuk looks like he's in the game in right field.
And you said Nick Castellanos and Ron Gardenhire's got to take a look at getting some of his guys out. You mentioned Castellanos, and Matuk is in their form.
But here's the deal. Players are going to get frustrated over a long season. They're going to have outbursts. Sometimes you may have a position or a stretch position, but it's going to happen. Same with the umpires. I made a comment about a week ago. I think the umpires are doing a much better job of not escalating. Doesn't mean you can't have words. And this has been going on for years, and they should have the right to defend themselves. I mean, if they're frustrated, they're going to say something. I think people enjoy that part of the game, to be honest with you.
I do too. And I think, to your point,
no disrespect to anybody.
Understood. But to your point, I think what happens is we see anytime there is a confrontation, and we note that as being a number of different times we've seen it. And instead, rarely do we see it. It just gets highlighted and magnified when it does happen.
More than it used to be. And I respect Bryce Harper, and I think he's a great player, and I admire the way he plays the game. I had beefs with the umpire. He's going to have them. James McCann's going to have them. Everybody's going to have them sometime or another.
Lindor flares one, foul territory, and into the seats.
But don't
baseline.
Sensationalize a trivial conversation. I mean, I remember situations where an umpire said something where I just inquired, like, geez, that looked like it's about 6 inches off the plate, Kenny. Say, yeah, get in there and see. You want to see what outside is? And of course, the next one is 10 inches, and they call it a strike. It's like, don't question me. Now that's over the line. I think maybe that's what Martinez is talking about. If you feel like an umpire would intentionally call a ball to show you who the boss was,
right,
that's over the line. Other than that, umpires bust their tails, players bust their tails. It's not always going to sync up. It's not always going to line up. And a scrap here or there is good for the game.
And there's nothing wrong with an argument here or there. That can be good for the game too, don't you think?
Now, in the past, like Martinez came out, like if you argue, quote, balls and strikes, you're out.
Automatically
so
ejected, right.
I got thrown out by DJ Rayburn one day because you can't argue balks. And Josh Coleman balked, and I merely came out to ask him as a little tapper back to the mount. I came out to merely ask him what to tell him, and he threw me out. So, I mean, I thought that Laz right there didn't escalate it to the next level. Shep's thinking over there. He's coming back.
I think you're dead on. I hear exactly what you're saying, and I would hope most people agree. It's not an indictment on the umpires in general. Don't paint them all with a broad brush. Michael Brantley has yet to be retired today. Homer and a couple of walks and a couple of runs scored. The shift implemented against the talented Cleveland left fielder, who has at least one hit in 101 games. Is this a multi-hit game? You better believe it. Right in front of Mikey Matuk. 48th multi-hit game of the year from Michael Brantley. And speaking of umpires, took place on Thursday. Yeah, maybe I'm as guilty as anybody else. Remember what happened with Todd Frazier back on September 3rd? A hidden ball trick. Remember, he claimed that he caught it when really he dropped it. Then he was arguing balls and strikes, and he was ejected on Tuesday night. And then Thursday night, he hits a game-winning home run against Miami, right in front of Tom Hallion, the home plate umpire, almost blocking his path to home plate. This one smoked to center, And over the head and off the wall. Jacoby Jones goes crashing in. Hustling around third is one run. Ramirez stands up at third. And the Indians now lead it 14-0. Tough chance there for Jacoby Jones.
He had it till he ran into the wall. He had it. No, he didn't have it. That's tough to do, run right into the wall right there. That stops you pretty quick. He gets up. This track right here, the multifaceted track right here, it's gravel. On the sides, it's the difference there. He hit that hard.
Well, he also hit the ground hard. It wasn't just the padded wall. When he hit the ground, his head looked like it bounced up a little bit.
Glasses, like he didn't get cut.
Second extra base hit for Jose Ramirez. Third hit overall for him. We've almost come accustomed to Jacoby Jones making those plays. He's dazzled us so often this year.
Well, when you're running directly into the wall, it's really tough. You got an angle on it, you can hit and kind of spin. You're going to see he's going directly into. Watch. This is, he stops quick.
Watch here, right there. Shoulder and head.
I would take the ground over the wall. You know, Tiger Stadium used to have that metal brick wall.
Yeah.
Actually, it was cement. The pads were even hard. They have much better pads now. Although that big tall wall out here, Progressive Field, could be pretty solid as well.
Encarnacion.
So more about Frazier. You did you ever figure out what happened there? The umpire was wanted to make sure that he touched the plate.
Well, Major League Baseball was disturbed by it. That was the written report that I read. See if anything comes of it later on.
Vacation.
Tom Hallion.
So is that the umpires under discretion for that?
Should be. Grounded through the shortstop and second baseman, both on the same side of the infield, but that one had so much smoke on it that it found the outfield grass, and it's 15-0.
We're talking about how smart Encarnacion is. I mean, this is basically, these guys are standing next to each other. Evan and Encarnacion, watch this, the hanger. He comes right up. He sees it quick. Look, he stays back. Trying to hit that out of the park. Really, these guys weren't that far apart.
No.
Right through the middle. $15-0. 102 off the bat.
Yonder Alonso, the first baseman now, scored 3 times.
3 times in a row, Alonso swung at the first pitch.
2 for 3 today. Single in the second. And the 2-run homer in the third. His 23rd homer of the year. Punch to center. Jones got a pretty good jump on it, and it's going to fall in front of him. He's playing so deep. Tough to make that one up. That one hit off the end of the bat. And Alonso's on base for a 4th time today.
Jacoby's tired. He ran a lot last night. He's running a lot tonight in a different fashion. Here goes Doug Teets out there again. Take a look at Jacoby. Hitting the ground. Wears you down.
Yeah, I bet. I'm going to pull him and welcome in Victor Reyes.
Encarnacion's coming out. Jacoby's coming out. some of the pitchers may have to be ready down there, because this game goes on like it is right now, they'll get into them.
Yeah, you're right.
Starters, they always act like they want to get in the game. Well, you might have an opportunity today. So Mikey's in for Nick.
Victor Reyes is in for Jacoby Jones in center.
Look at that's gonna look like he tweaked something, or he's playing it up. Get me out of here. I got a couple of knocks. Get me out of here. You know, not a spring chicken anymore. A very good player for a long time.
Hey, Tigers fans, if you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with the Fox Sports app. Download the Fox Sports app and take Fox Sports Detroit and Tigers baseball with you. It's made available by Oakland University. Rajay Davis, the former Tiger, takes the place of Edwin Encarnacion. Melky Cabrera batting from the left side to first. Adduci to second for one. The relay not in time. Cosma.
Took his time, made a good throw anyway. Unable to get the double play.
And here's Yandy Diaz.
So Rajai is in for Encarnacion.
I talked to Rajay Davis before the game a little bit today. It's always good to see him and wish him well. Yeah, he loves the game. An important player in postseason, in this postseason push, and probably in the postseason. Nobody in Cleveland remembers what he's done in the past.
Great playoffs.
Great
player
playoffs.
too. Real good piece for any club.
One and two to Yandy Diaz. Buck Farmer getting loose.
Yeah, every time that phone rings down there now, they're wondering who it's for.
And Reiniger gets out of it.
Good breaking ball there in the last two to get him.
But the Indians score twice. They have as many runs as hits today. batters. Matt Hall has made an auspicious major league debut, and the Indians offense, everybody top to bottom has raked. 4th time this year the Tribe have scored 15 runs or more in a ball game.
Well, they weren't feeling too good about the game last night, and they've been hearing about how Houston and Boston, they got the field today back.
Greg Allen is now in right field for Melky Cabrera. Victor Reyes with a pop up to shallow left. Lindor called for right away. 1 quick out here in the 5th. Let's go to Mickey York in the Cole Sand Studios with a game break. We're doing fine. I mean, puck a little baseball. How's your ram pick the stick today, Mick? You gonna be all right? Yeah. Yeah. I know I'm not winning. How's that?
There's only 1 point.
Yeah, but you're way atop the standings at ram pick the stick. Here's Joel Lugo. That's a number.
Little number.
We've talked about Cleveland's pitching staff. You and I have seen Houston's pitching staff. You've seen Boston and New York as well. Who do you think, if you believe the pitching is most important, who do you believe has the best starting staff in the American League?
I'd have to go with Houston.
So would I.
I mean, what we've seen in right now, it can all change. Somebody could go down, somebody could get hurt. Because I think, like Houston, you have the obvious Cole and Verlander, right?
Yeah, that's the best 1-2 punch, I would say. I mean, if you think it's maybe Sale and Price, if you think it could be Kluber and Bauer or Kluber and Carrasco,
I
would listen to it, but I don't think you could convince me it's better.
The health, when you talk about the health of those Boston players, there's always a question who can just continue to breeze in. And you know, Houston, now Boston, they're clinched, right?
Yeah.
So they have the luxury of spacing out some rest and getting their starters and their bullpen managed properly for a playoff run. Houston does not have that same luxury, so that may give Boston a bit of an edge.
Clevenger and the Indians making a statement here from their pitching. They're through 5. He's tossing a 1-hitter, but it helps to have 15 runs in your back pocket, doesn't it? staffs. Gibby and I agree. Houston #1. You see those areas. Cleveland does lead the American League in quality starts, second in ERA, second in WHIP, second in strikeouts per 9. And by the way, they also have 27 starts of 10 strikeouts or more. That's tops in all of baseball. They also lead the American League in shutouts. For what that's worth, then you've got to look at their defense, then you've got to look at the offense too. It's a mixture of things, Gibby, but from a pitching standpoint, the defending champs have the edge.
Well, I mean, they don't have a healthy bullpen, though. I mean, they've had Andrew Miller.
Right.
He's been part of the secret formula. And he's not healthy. We watch him play now. He may come around for the playoffs. They may have that luxury of doing that. So I think you got to go into beyond the starters. But if you look at Cleveland, they, you know, Trevor Bauer, he's X factor. He would start one of the first 2 games if he was healthy, would he not?
Oh, absolutely.
Kluber,
he was throwing earlier today, by the way.
Yeah,
So.
Kluber's going to be in there. Got Carrasco. Clevenger's throwing the ball well. They got Bieber, the young kid.
We'll see him tomorrow.
And Tomlin, he's probably going to be in the bullpen at best.
May not even be on the playoff roster.
They lost Brian Shaw in the bullpen. He was a huge guy. He's a guy, like you're talking about shutouts. They're not. I don't see guys going 9 innings in the playoffs. They haven't in the past, what, 2-3 years. They get them out of there quick, and they go to their back end guys. They all come in throwing hard, trying to just destroy their way through the later innings.
Cody Allen has struggled, but Brad Hand has been a nice acquisition for this team.
He has, but Clymer, who they picked up, has not done well.
Simber. Yeah.
Yeah, Simber. And then, but don't they rank like 24th or something, their bullpen in the league?
Correct. 25th. There's one inside the line for Kipnis. A bid for extra bases, touched by a fan. And a ground rule double for Jason Kipnis on base for the 3rd time tonight. Copies are still available for the new book, 3, A Salute to Alan Trammell. Relive the career of Tigers legend and 2018 Hall of Fame inductee Alan Trammell with this must-have item.
Fiddler.
Filled with an exclusive collection of stories and photographs that's perfect for any Tigers fan. Order a copy today by visiting tigers.com/Trammell3. Might be one of the best, if not the best, birthday present I ever received. My kids got me a plaque of Alan Trammell's Hall of Fame plaque. So something very similar to what is up in Cooperstown.
Then you had a Hall of Fame conversation last night.
Sure did.
He's all business, isn't he?
It was awesome.
He's well versed. He's a baseball historian. And he's got that little bit of instigator in him that I've been claiming nobody sees. But I'm at the end of the rat.
Yeah, but the knowledge, and it's not just about this team. It's about the entire organization. He's going to fly down to Lakeland today, and he's going to take a look at more Tigers youngsters to try and help aid them get to this level. Candelario with a long throw made it look easy.
Tram knows every guy in the system. He knows mostly the other systems as well. I know GM Malavila really counts on Tram's opinion because he does have such good base. Good job by Candy right here. Don't take it for granted. We see that today. Gets his feet underneath him, makes a good throw across.
One down here in the 5th for Cleveland.
So who's left? We got Houston, we got Cleveland. We go into number 3.
Boston or New York. New York's bullpen is really good.
But Chapman's hurt right now, is he not?
Yes.
That's a big part of that bullpen.
Huge.
I mean, the important thing about bullpens, especially at the back end, is the swing and miss ability.
Right.
Who do you have that can come in, guys in second, third, no outs, 1 out, and blow them away and stop them from scoring?
Yeah, get you out of a jam, right? Who do you trust in that type of situation? Yeah.
It's a funny swing right there. They wouldn't want to lose this guy. They don't want to need him to get hurt before they go to the playoffs.
Too important.
Maybe a little hint that maybe he needs a rest for the rest of this game. I'm telling you, he's got.
Yeah, these could be long games even for the guys who are dialed in.
Yeah, everybody knows their chance of getting out of this game.
Farmer bobbled it and didn't get there in time.
It's got to be an error, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it's got error written all over it.
The fourth one of the day for the Tigers. Just doesn't handle it. And Ducey can't make the. Can't stretch quite far enough. Here comes Lindor. He's out now. My back's stiff too.
Lonnie Chisenhall comes in to replace him. Terry Francona making the most of his deep bench. Rajay Davis, Brandon Barnes took the place of Jason Kipnis. He's at third base, and now Chisenhall on first base. Check that, Eric Gonzalez rather, not Chisenhall.
Tigers not playing uptight. 15-run deficit here in the fifth. 6-5, 2-2 runs for the Tribe so far to start this game off.
Brantley takes wide, 2-0. Brantley is charged back after going 0 for 4 yesterday. He's been on base all 4 times today.
Home run, 2 walks, and a hit.
3 runs scored. It's a great day for Ram Pick the Stick, isn't it?
Not really.
I mean, if you were playing from a Cleveland standpoint.
Oh yeah, they have all kind of points.
Brantley batting .314 against righties. That's 5th best in the American League. To second base. Nice backhand by Lugo, and the Tigers turn it nicely.
Not a boy.
Ends the 5th. Cleveland fails to score for the first time today. Started early. We need to remind folks that Michael Fulmer started this game But after giving up back-to-back jacks, Francisco Lindor and Michael Brantley, he left an injury to Michael Fulmer, and you can't help but wonder, should he start any more this season?
Yeah, he's had a bad knee. It's been sore. It's been swollen on him. They've been dealing with it, and it was bothering him going into today's game. If that, in fact, is not getting better, I would say he should not start, at least his next start. But we'll see what they can do with it. They don't want to risk him alternating his motion to compensate for a bad knee, hurting his arm, elbow, or shoulder. That would be not very smart. So good chance he may be done, but we'll have to get a report from the Tigers here in a couple days.
We hear baseball all the time refer to, sometimes the beauty of baseball is that you can forget about a game like this and you can move on to the next day. Games like this sting young players like it may sting a fan base.
No, I mean, this is a fluke game. It shouldn't sting the players. If it does, it's good that they're going to have to find out how to dig their way out of it. You know, there's a bunch of adjustments here. Candyman goes down. Ton of adjustments, and you're going to have to learn to fight through it if you're having problems with it today.
Fifth strikeout of the day for Mike Clevenger. Here's the new alignment for him. Brandon Geyer's in left for Michael Brantley. Greg Allen shifts to center to take the place of Jason Kipnis. And Brandon Barnes takes Melky Cabrera's place at right, with Eric Gonzalez replacing Francisco Lindor at short. Tigers have one hit on this Saturday afternoon. It was courtesy of this guy right here, Kristen Stewart.
If you're thinking about spring training next year, today's kind of a spring training game. You look at the names that are still in the lineup. A lot of the youngsters, a lot of defensive substituting going in.
Names like Lugo, Reyes, Matuk, Stewart, Candelario.
Lucy. Lugo.
You wonder if Grayson Griner might get an opportunity to jump in there behind the plate. Although he might be starting tomorrow. So. Inside edge, making it 2-2. See what the Dodgers did with the Cardinals today. Detroit down 15 zip. LA 17 spot. St. Louis. Ouch.
That club homers. That Dodger club.
How about Max Muncy?
Got up to a huge start. He's cooled down a little bit, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's a great story, though.
It is a great story. I tell you, it was a great story. It still amazes me is Justin Turner. He really exploded after he went to the Dodgers, after he got away from the Mets.
He's a really good hitter. And I think an underrated third baseman is Stewart. Pops up left side of the infield. Gonzalez drifting out, but drifting in and making the play as Geyer. Two down.
Turner's a gamer. He gets dirty all the time.
Yep.
He's got a wicked bat, and I think he competes as much or more than most.
He's also a clutch player, you think?
Oh, I do.
And when he's not in their lineup, it shows. You've always talked of lengthening the lineup, right? Well, he really helps lengthen that lineup for LA.
They got other guys who can break. Bellinger, he's got power.
Turner went 3 for 3 today with a couple of runs scored.
Machado.
And Cody Bellinger. Yasiel Puig, as Mickey York had mentioned in one of the updates, a big day, 3 for 6, 7 runs driven in by Yasiel Puig today. I've always liked Jock Peterson. He went 3 for 6.
He's got 20 home runs. He doesn't even play every day, but he's having a good year. Yep.
Not a high average. Matuk with a grounder to second. And a quiet 6th for the Tigers. third straight division title. They lead at 15-zip as they bat in the 6th alongside two-time World Series champ Kirk Gibson. I'm Matt Shepard. We welcome in our friend Craig Monroe in the Call Sam studio back in Detroit. Simo, you've no doubt experienced something like this. What's the challenge here for a player? What are young guys learning in a game like this? I mean, this game will humble you, right? It's sort of like the three of us playing golf once in a while. Yeah.
See, I think it's reflective on their expectation. Think how many games we played. They've been really close games, right? How many? I mean, St. Louis, they had a good series. All of Houston.
Yeah, 47 one-run games.
And last night, so I think their expectation is that this doesn't happen. So that's a good thing. But as Simo just pointed out, there are times when you've got to push yourself through different thoughts that you're going to have on the baseball diamond. And you got to play baseball at the best of your ability. And you got to still take care of yourself and your team as much as you can, regardless. So we got another runner. Ramirez is done. Who do we got here?
Adam Rosales will run for Jose Ramirez.
Oh, I did.
Is Rajay Davis hitting for the first time? I know you're a big fan of Rajay Davis. What do you enjoy most about what he'll help this Cleveland team come postseason time? Was the 152nd pitch by a Tigers thrower today. That is mind-boggling.
Yeah, all the young guys are getting a chance to throw. Simo, we were talking earlier in the game about Matt Hall coming in, kind of weird circumstances to come into the game. What was one of the weirdest situations that you either had to come in and pick somebody up or somebody got thrown out unexpected? Did you have any of those in your career? And you've had a chance to watch a couple games with Kristen Stewart out in the outfield. What are your early impressions of him and defensively?
What's the first thing you would work on with him if you were tutoring him? Is that a difficult thing to learn? Allen strokes one to right. Mata giving chase, cuts it off on a nice play in the right field corner, but still runners at the corners with 2 down for Cleveland. Families affected by Hurricane Florence urgently need support. Help the American Red Cross provide meals and shelter to these families. Donate today by going to redcross.org or text Florence to 90999 to get $10 to Red Cross Hurricane Relief. Thoughts and prayers with the folks there.
Oh, I remember it. We went on a hot streak to not get to 120, by the way. We beat Minnesota.
To the gap in left center field. Victor Reyes got a great jump on it, though, and the inning is over. Tigers still trail 15-zip. Maybe we'll finish that thought from 2003. Simo, appreciate it as always. Look forward to your insight on Tigers Live postgame. Brought to you by Bell Tire. For tires and auto service, everybody needs a Bell Tire guy. And by Chevy Silverado, the most dependable, longest lasting full-size pickups on the road. Oliver Perez, the new pitcher for Cleveland.
Oli Perez, this guy's been around a long time. 45. He's got good stuff too. Look at his ERA. 6 walks. He's always had trouble with his location, but obviously when he does locate, he's pretty good. Used to be a starter with the Mets. Had him with the Diamondbacks. He's been to several teams, and here he is with the Indians.
In relief of Mike Cleffinger. And it's Jared Saltalamacchia.
Yeah, his stuff moves pretty good. Like I said, in the past, he's had bouts with wildness, and it's got him in trouble. Good guy. Lots of sliders. Saw a couple of them right there. He used to throw hard. Now he's aged a little bit. Doesn't have as much velocity in the arm as he used to, but he's learned how to throw it where he needs it.
Not easy to change gears like that, is it? With Saltalamacchia skying one to center. Allen is there for the put away. One down. Sports fans, you won't want to miss the 2018 Michigan Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony Friday, September 28th. It's at Soundboard at Motor City Casino. Join us as we celebrate Detroit native and former NBAer B.J. Armstrong, former MSU running back T.J. Duckett, and many others. Tickets start at just $25. For tickets and information, visit the website, mshof.org.
Good event. That's a good venue to go to. I like the Soundboard.
So do I. They do a really good job of hosting the Michigan Emmys every year.
It's just a nice room, probably about 1,500 people, maybe tops. Right there at the Motor City Casino. Lots to do down there in Detroit nowadays.
Oh yeah, people sticking around,
jumping.
Yeah. Pistons and Red Wings season right around the corner. So should stay busy down there, right? Red Wings at training camp right now. Ducey with a grounder to short. Gonzalez with his first assist of the day. Big news yesterday, of course, in Detroit sports was the retirement of Henrik Zetterberg. And what happens to the Red Wings captaincy this day moving forward? We'll see what happens.
What do you predict?
I think there will be 3 assistant captains: Nicholas Kronwall, Justin Advocator, and Dylan Larkin. Next year, Dylan Larkin will be named captain of the Wings.
Good basis behind that. You got inside intel, or that's just your?
No, it's just a gut.
Yeah, that's the way you think it would be good.
Yeah, if you were going to name a captain, it would probably be Kronwall. He's been a true pro in Detroit for so many years. Truly one of my favorite athletes to cover as Lewis Coleman warms up. But you sure don't anticipate him playing 82 games this year.
Yeah, he's got some
knee issues, yeah.
Well, but he's got a lot of playoff hockey under his belt, and those extended seasons really take it out of you, don't they?
He's a good man. Caught the corner, 1 and 2 to James McCann.
Yeah, McCann and Wagner, they've been going at it a little bit. They've been having conversations behind the plate, I guarantee it.
Well, they have not seen eye to eye today, have they? Struck out his last time up. Struck out this time up as well. Cleveland bats in the 7th. They lead at 15-0 coming up the Consumers Energy 7th inning stretch.
one for the Tigers. Didn't start good. Leadoff home run. Then Michael Brantley hits a home run. 2 hitters, 2 dingers, and then Michael Fulmer is visited by the trainers. And he's taken out of the game with a sore knee. A couple errors by the Tigers, and then a couple bloops by Cleveland. And the big fly by Yonder Alonso, and it's now 15-0. Indians have 17 hits. And everybody's character is being tested today in this one. Tigers, no runs, 1 hit, 4 errors. That's not the kind of storyline you want to see, but they got to get through this. Nobody else hurt. We'll keep an eye on a couple little stories around the field.
Of those 17 hits, Gibby, 6 are of the extra base variety. 3 homers, a couple of doubles, and a triple. So Lewis Coleman toes the rubber. 4th arm of the bullpen for Ron Gardenhire's team.
Brandon Barnes will lead it off for Cleveland.
Barnes, Haas, and Gonzalez due up for Cleveland.
Tigers have went down in order for the last 3 innings. Hopefully the Tigers can do that to the Indians this inning.
Grounded to 3rd. 1 quick out for Lewis Coleman here in the 7th. Eric Haas with his first at bat of the day. Spent the entire year in Columbus, batted .236 there with 20 homers and 71 RBIs. Swings at the first pitch and fouls it away. Made his major league debut on September 2nd against Tampa. This is his 3rd game he's appeared in.
Got a ball in the field. No, they got it.
To center field. Reyes hustling in, got a late charge, but makes up the ground. 2 down.
Jacoby Jones, Reyes is in for him. He's had a couple of tough attempts there. That one off the wall, running straight into it. He ended up coming out of the game as well. Coming in on the ball, couldn't quite get there. It was one of those games. Tigers have made some mistakes. Indians have hit some home runs and some nicely placed hits in front of our outfielders. It's one of those games. Got to move on. Got to get it over with and get on with tomorrow.
2 injured Tigers in this one. Michael Fulmer leaves with the knee, and Jacoby Jones left in the 4th with a right shoulder injury.
But he was running off. I think he'll be fine.
Eric Gonzalez batting for the first time today. (15-17 and 0 for the Indians. They've actually left 10 men on base.
Could be worse. That you're telling me?
Yeah. Yesterday they were 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. Today they're 7 for 18 with runners in scoring position.
Lots of them.
The guy you were talking about not too long ago, right? Adam Simber. Gonzalez looked like he went, and he did. 2-2.
Yeah, if you flinch up there now, it's going to be called a swing. Get veteran umpires. So there's 2 vets and 3 vets in a rook.
This one stroked to left. Stewart on the run. He's not going to get it. That'll bounce off the wall. Reyes played it well, and a 2-out double for Eric Gonzalez. third double of the day, hit by a Cleveland player. Here's Brandon Geyer. Geyer started in right and played last night, went 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Long day for Rick Anderson.
Yeah,
a lot to go over, huh?
Out there, yeah. Well, you got to try not to take it too personal. On days like today, you really work hard. Everybody works hard. And you have such a day of failure. You can't let it get you down. And, one thing good about it, it's an earlier game. The guys can go out, relax early today, go out and have a nice dinner, see their friends, see their family, and regroup for tomorrow.
Or in Jamer Candelario's case, see his agent, who he introduced to you last night.
Yep.
You talked to him for a while.
Yeah, I just talked to Candy last night. Been having some conversation with him. I find it interesting to just see where their heads are at, where they're at in the game of baseball, what they like, their hobbies, their family, where they're from. And actually, he's from he's from Dominican.
Of Dominican descent, but from New York.
I think his descent is from Saint DeMarcus. Anyway, the same city as Pedro Guerrero. So we started talking about Pedro. I was a teammate with him. Guerrero was quite a character, I tell you, but he could really play and he could rake. But he also kind of got broke down with injuries. It happens quick. Appreciate it while you're here and get what you can get. Have fun with your teammates and win. You win a world championship.
Well, the Indians will have a chance to do that. That's for certain. Payoff pitch to Geyer. Fouled away. Cleveland about to become the second team in baseball to clinch a playoff spot. Boston was the first. The Red Sox have 101 wins.
Yeah, I asked Candy where his family was. He said in the Dominican. So we got into the Pedro.
Lost him. Manage your dream team in franchise mode, plus get weekly stats, roster updates, and more. RBI Baseball 18's available now. Learn more at rbigame.com. Rated E for everyone. There's Adam Rosales with his first at-bat of the day. Rosales was out taking early batting practice while I was in the Indians clubhouse today talking with some of the coaches. They asked him if he wanted to hit indoor or outdoor. He said it doesn't matter to me as long as I've got someone throwing to me. Take the extra at bats.
You got to have that attitude.
Tough lineup to crack, this Indians top half of the order, and at least 5 of their positions. 0-2 to him.
Take a look at Adam Gonzalez or Rosales, 239. That's in AAA. 61 ribbies though, and 18 home runs. He's been around several years. A lot of guys that you know, they've been up to the big leagues. They stay in the game and they play in AAA, and it's still fun. It's a good game, and you can always get back to the big leagues. You're right there, one step away.
He's a native of Chicago, Illinois. Was with the Phillies, but released after spring training. To center field. Reyes with his second putout in the frame. We head to the 8th. Tigers down more than a couple of touchdowns. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire.
There's actually second pitch of the game on the fastball. Lindor goes deep, and then Michael Brantley goes deep on the changeup, and Michael Fulmer goes out of the game after that with a swollen right knee. He's been battling that for a while, and we've been talking a little bit about Michael and some of his pitches before the game. But 15 runs, 18 hits, and no errors for Cleveland. Tigers no runs, 1 hit, and 4 errors. And we've got a new pitcher.
23rd appearance in a Cleveland uniform for Adam Simber.
Sidearmer. Funky for the righties.
Since coming to Cleveland, team's batting over 360 against him.
Well, you can see he'd be nasty on righties from lefties. Not as much. When he drops down, you just have to you get a much better view from the left side.
Reyes, Lugo, and Cosma up for the Tigers. Reyes quickly in an 0-2 hole.
Lane Hardy looks like he's getting loosened up for the last inning. Victor Reyes says have one at bat, flight out in the 5th. Roman in the outfield. He's got a couple starts in the last week. He's come a long way. The Rule 5 kid. He's had a good year.
I think most would agree with that.
How does he fit in the future? He's got an athletic skill set.
He still has something to prove toward the end of the season. Not that this is convincing the top brass going into spring training that he's automatically made this team, but he wants to make sure he leaves a lasting positive impression as he heads toward Lakeland next year. This year, forced to stay on this team because of the Rule 5.
Yeah, you'd be able to move up and down next year.
But would like to make the team out of spring training like anybody would. But the limitations are no longer there from a club standpoint.
Yeah, well, if they moved him down this year, they would have had to return him back. I believe it was Minnesota, wasn't it? Yep.
Down the left field line, a fair ball. Strong turn at first from Victor Reyes, and the leadoff man is on here in the 8th.
So we're going to go back here, and we're going to do this at the beginning of the game. Talk about Michael Fulmer's changeup. There's one that he hung recently. This one here is up, and you're going to give up hits that way. Look at these. Look at the run on these. See how it's going down there? That's what he's trying to get back. Here's on the left. This one's going to go down. That's the good one. This one on the right stays up. You're obviously trying to get the one on the left. Now, in 2016, that one on the left, that's where that was from. And what the Tigers wanted to do is get him and keep him healthy. That's why the knee issue was not something that's negotiable. They wanted him to change his delivery. Want him to get back, get healthy, get his knee better, so he can get out front. You get out front with this one here on the left, and look, he finishes down, and the ball goes down. Then here on the right, kind of stands up, and it just kind of stays up.
I noticed that. Yeah.
So it was a good pitch for him in 2016. For him to get back is my opinion. And he's going to have that in his repertoire as well, and he's going to have to be able to get it down. And with the sore knee is not the way to try and do it. So that didn't play out. I just wanted to go back and, in case you were wondering.
Yeah, that's good analysis right there. Absolutely. That's informative stuff. You wonder, why would you keep throwing it if it was that ineffective?
Well, I don't think he threw it as much, actually, because you're a starting pitcher. I mean, you're going to throw 3 pitches, but you can lose your grip on any pitch. You can lose your feel as a hitter. We talked about fielding the ball. It can happen. Name me a game that you play, like a physical game, like
golf.
Golf. Do you lose it sometimes? Do you lose the feel?
Still trying to find it in the first place.
Well, but sometimes you feel like you're hitting the ball better than others.
Sometimes you feel like you're in a rhythm, right?
Yeah, and you just feel it. So if you hit a certain club better than the other, maybe you take out the rescue club instead of the iron.
Right.
Or maybe vice versa.
Yeah, you go back to old reliable. Sure.
So pitching, though I was never a pitcher, is kind of similar. I'm trying to give an analogy.
That's a nice play right there by Diaz.
I think he came off the bag in there first, didn't he? I don't think you're going to see a replay, but a little cheating over there at first. He's going to bring in Cody Allen, isn't he?
He is.
This is smart.
He's decided to make a pitching change with 2 down in the 8th, and his team comfortably in control. Because Victor Martinez, Nick Castellanos, and Jacoby Jones are all out of the game. Wise choice by Johnny Kane to go with Jacoby Jones there, #1 overall. There is some controversy involved there. All right, Cody Allen comes in. Tony Francona's team is up 15-0. He's got 2 outs in the 8th. Why the pitching change here, Kirk Gibson?
Well, he's trying to get ready for the playoffs. Like we talked, he's last pitched on the 11th. He had a save. So that's what, 2-3 days ago. He's trying to simulate. He hasn't thrown the ball as well as he did in the previous years. He's trying to simulate, get him up, get him ready, get him in the game, get out. He wants him to come in and have that intensity. Generally, closers don't like to do this, so he's just trying to keep him ready and looking forward to the playoffs, trying to get him on track. Hopefully, you know, it's a leadoff guy. The phone rings. I'm sure he didn't expect it. Get Cody up. So he got that rush, just like he would get in the game. Get him in, and hopefully that he, you know, has the intensity to get through this inning, get through this batter. He's hoping for one batter, crank him up. It's better in the bullpen. It's better him throwing the ball on, you know, just on the field on the flat ground.
Ripped foul. 1-2 to Jamer Candelario. You would argue Cody Allen is not their postseason closer.
You're right.
Either.
Brad Hand.
Brad Hand, right.
But he still needs Allen, whether he's 7, 8, or 9, because Miller's been 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. But he doesn't appear to be as healthy as he's been in the past, or throwing the ball as well.
Tapper down the first base line. Allen makes the play himself. The Tigers are done in the 8th. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be. Come to Comerica. By your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers, visit ChevyDetroit.com and see why Chevy drives the Motor City. And by Wallside Windows, we can do that. We are the factory. Beautiful Saturday here in Cleveland. We expect a similar Sunday in the series wrap-up and the season series wrap-up. This one wrapped up by Cleveland pretty early on. 6 in the first, 5 in the second. They scored in each of the first 4 innings.
Boy, come out and got us quickly.
Sure did.
Got a new pitcher, Blaine Hardy, 25th game. Really started the season on a great note with the starter. He did real well at the starter. Then he got a sore elbow, tendonitis, I guess, left elbow tendonitis, and is throwing one game since he's been off the disabled list. That was on the 3rd of September. In Chicago, he threw a couple innings, so he'll try and improve upon his condition. He really threw good as the starter this year, didn't he?
He was really good. Yeah. Give him a lot of credit. I mean, he's a very easygoing guy. Does he get competitive on the mound? You bet. But his ability to handle either role has been admirable. Rajay Davis, Yonder Alonso, and Greg Allen due up here in the 8th for Cleveland. To center field. No, it's a pop-up down the infield, rather. Hardy
There
called
you
for
go.
it. What were you and I talking about with Alan Trammell yesterday? We were talking about why pitchers don't make more of those pop-up grabs, and Blaine Hardy took charge right away.
He did.
Here's the upcoming pitching matchup presented by Wallside Windows. Francisco Liriano against Shane Bieber in the wrap-up. Tigers Live gets us going at noon.
Yeah, Bieber, a youngster, 10-3. Pretty good, huh?
Yeah, really good numbers.
So Cleveland's been good at scouting, good at trading, and bringing developed players up to the big club. And Bieber seems to be on track.
And he'll be pitching on an extended 5 days rest. Bieber will on Sunday, and Francisco Liriano. This will be the 25th time he faces the Indians in his career. Tomorrow afternoon again. Tigers Live with Mickey York and Craig Monroe starting at noon. There's Liriano.
Got a few pitches this game, don't we?
190 coming right here.
From the Tigers?
From the Tigers.
Ooh.
Fulmer, Hall, Baez, Farmer, Coleman, and Hardy.
And normally when you have somebody threw a shutout, it might be 120 pitches.
Scalded to first. Nice play by Adduci. He'll take it unassisted. 2 down.
Let's take a look at the ISO here on Adduci. Got to react quickly. We're going to do a little thing tomorrow as well on first baseman. We were talking about the importance of positions. We said catcher number 1. Well, you know, pitcher's not in it. Catcher 1. First baseman 2. So we're going to be icing the first basemen and show you about how involved they are within the game.
Allen swings through a first pitch offering. Does beg the question, best first baseman you ever played against or with?
Honestly, best first of all time that I played with. Well, that's kind of high. I'd have to say Goldie. He was somewhat early in his career, and to continue to watch him, he did it all. He played off first base further than anybody I know. If you look at Adduci over there right now, I mean, Goldie would be another 20 feet, 15, 20 feet. But he was taught by a guy named Lyle Overbay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'm talking they would be way out over here.
Why?
Well, because the ball doesn't get hit down that line with many guys, so why not do it? But Lyle taught him how to do that, and Lyle was very good.
Excellent. Yeah.
You know, Dave Bergman for the Tigers, he was very good. One of my teammates, he was very good. You have to be a manager of many things at first, because again, hopefully we can show you there are a lot of things that they do. You know, just covering the bag, like when the ball goes to first, he's got to run over there. It's not that easy, depending on where the ball is hit.
No, you're right. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be an awesome tutoring opportunity for us. We're learning from you. Eric Hosmer immediately comes to mind in today's game and how good your first baseman is. But Ron Gardenhire, you and I were talking the other day about, you know, how important that first base is, and you know, he had a guy by the name of Kent Herbeck. You played against him. He may not have been the best, but man, he could scoop it, and he would catch just about anything that's around him when he was in Minnesota. Herbeck, part of that '87 championship team, big target at first base. Had Tom Bernansky in right field, of course.
Could pick it.
Yeah. Kirby Puckett, Gary Gaetti at third.
Like on some of the cutoffs, you know, you got to know when to cut it, when not. You got to redirect it, so you cut it, redirect it to second. Sometimes you're a trail guy, where you trail the play, you trail the runner into second base.
Candelario fumbles it a little bit. but still made the play. Calm and cool across the diamond. The Tigers will bat in the ninth. We're through 8. Cleveland in front, 15-0. Starting to get a little antsy here in Cleveland. 26,532 waiting to celebrate what will be their 3rd straight American League Central Division Championship. Stewart, one of 2 Tigers with a base hit here tonight. One and 2 to him.
Yeah, Stewie got ahead 1-0, went after a high fastball. Cody Allen coming back with something off speed. And a way to lay off. They pretty much, that's the MO by Cleveland against Stewie. They go back door with it now.
2-2 pitch to the rookie. Fought it off.
Brought him in to, they brought Cody Allen in to get some work. Greet him with your first home run. Another breaking ball down and in.
Foul territory.
Fastball on the knuckles. Yeah.
Indians 24-8 at home against the Central. Usually you find the team that has the best record within its division, they'll win that division. 2-2 pitch. Make it full.
Good job. He swung at a lot of those over top of those so far in his young major league career. You see him trying to make an adjustment. However, when you do that, you look for those breaking balls shut, become a little bit susceptible to the fastball.
He's competed.
Oh yeah.
In his at bats. Not going to give in.
That's a good approach there. He pitches this at bat.
Do it again. Speaking of pitches, the Tigers pitchers threw 201 today. That ties a season high. They threw 201 in a loss to Pittsburgh earlier this year, April 25th.
A lot of pitches.
A ton. Too many. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Got him looking.
Well, Allen threw him. The kitchen sink.
And this again has to do with what Gibby was mentioning before. This is about a playoff situation. This is trying to get your guys assimilated to what they're going to experience come postseason time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. He's not going to let them relax. He's just wants to make sure they're going through the right mechanics, prepare for a playoff, not run, participation and win. He's, you know, they're going to clinch here today, and he wants his players. This is just a way of saying, yeah, we're going to have a good time, but also be ready to answer the bell. Just like we promised, it's time for the Miller Lite pull-through moment. For the game, Victor Martinez was recognized by the Cleveland Indians, whom he spent a good amount of time here and has a great career. It appears to be coming to an end. They presented him, and Victor got very emotional. That's good, and I know Tito feels good about that.
If they can get a win, the first this day in Indians history.
And V-Mart had so many good games here, so many good runs, and has really served the Tigers well.
Started his career switch hitter, made
Batted
his major league
318
debut
in 2007. Big part of that Cleveland postseason run.
Good catcher.
Yeah. They never worried about whether or not he could hit. When he first got up here, they worked diligently with him on playing the position of catcher. They always knew he would hit. And boy, did he hit. Those numbers with Cleveland. RBIs more than that with the Tigers. The Tigers all-time leader as a switch hitter in RBIs. But they for sure appreciated what he brought to this city and this franchise.
Here's the closer this season with San Diego and Cleveland. 64th game, 67 innings. Brad Hand, acquired from San Diego on the 19th.
.24 saves with the Padres, 8 here with Cleveland.
So it looks like, and we knew this coming in, that Hand was probably going to be the closer. However, Terry Francona, because Hand is a left-handed pitcher, there's lefties in the lineup, he will bring him in the opposite way. So, you know, that's how he started with Andrew Miller, was bringing guys in no matter what the situation is, when it calls for. If Brad Hand needs to come into the game in the 8th, he'll pitch him, right? And then he'll have Cody Allen behind him. He'll do it one way, and then he'll do it the other way. He's very good. Cleveland's been very innovative in the way they think about where and when they pitch their pitchers.
Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just make him your closer just because he's a lefty? I mean, Dave Righetti was a closer, for example. Zach Britton's been a closer as a lefty.
Well, like I said, if the lineup, if he's got him kind of pinned in, like you get to the end of the game, and it's the 8th inning, you need him to throw that inning. This could be the most important part of the inning, as opposed to hope your other guys could get through it. Then you bring him in to seal it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, it's what they do in the playoffs now. I mean, that's why starters go 4 or 5 innings. They analyze the lineup, who's going to hit against who, and they put their best guy to get him out. I mean, they ham and egg it through the whole game.
3-1 pitch to Mikey Montook. And of course, Aroldis Chapman, same thing as a lefty.
Well, he strikes everybody out.
Right. There's a difference there, isn't there?
But you know, and I be honest with you, there you see the probables tomorrow. Shane Bieber versus Francisco Liriano. Tito's getting to learn him right now, and he'll take and shape that staff. He will bring guys in who can get him out and who he feels. And everybody has their own way of analyzing their opponent through the data.
Jared Saltalamacchia.
Mark my words on that one.
Yanked foul. We've got more Tigers and Indians baseball for you fans tomorrow afternoon, so join us right here on Fox Sports Detroit for Tigers Live. It starts at noon with Tigers Live and Mickey York and Craig Monroe. Oh, 2.
Good biting right there, 83 miles an hour. Good movement late. Hand throws very firm, like really everybody else at the back end. Ronnie Rodriguez is going to get into bat. Boy, he really changes his grip plate. Look at his glove there. It's a nasty slider straight down.
2 down here in the 9th. Leaves it up to Ronnie Rodriguez. Pinch hitting for Jim Adduci.
Now let's say this was the 8th inning and they brought him in to face Salty. Now he's in against Adduci. You burn him and you got a righty up there. Now you go right to Miller. That's just kind of how it works. I was just looking like I always like to look in guys' gloves.
You mean Allen, not Miller. I mean, Miller would be a lefty.
Cody Allen, yeah. If Miller was in the game, or Hand, like Hand's in the game right now, they bring the righty in. Now you've got Cody Allen right now. But Hand, he really gets his grip late. Doing the whole finger thing, moving it around. He's got the changeup, the fastball. Got his grip.
1-1 now.
That's the heater.
The AL Central was formed in 1994. Cleveland has 9 AL Central Division titles, more than any team in the division. Minnesota has 6, the Tigers 4, the White Sox 3, and the Royals 1. One and 2.
Yeah, if you were on second base trying to give signs on Hand, you'd have to give him really late. But you can see when he throws that slider, those 2 fingers go right together.
Crowd has sensed it from the opening frame. Three in a row for the Tribe.
Going to be probably pretty subtle.
Stay tuned. Tigers Live postgame from the Coliseum studio. It's coming up next on Fox Sports Detroit.